Curiosity and natural exploration are normal parts of being human. From childhood, people are curious about the world around them. They want to see new places, try new foods, learn new skills, and meet new people. This natural curiosity does not stop when a person becomes an adult. It continues in many areas of life, including relationships and intimacy. When we talk about intimacy, we are talking about closeness between people. This can include emotional closeness, physical affection, trust, communication, and shared experiences. For many men, as well as women, curiosity about different forms of intimacy can come from this natural human desire to explore and understand more about themselves and their partner. It is important to understand that curiosity is not the same as dissatisfaction. Sometimes people think that if someone wants to try something new in a relationship, it must mean they are unhappy. But that is not always true. A person can love and appreciate their partner deeply and still feel curious about new experiences. In many parts of life, people enjoy variety. They may love their favorite food but still want to try a new dish sometimes. They may enjoy their job but still want to learn new skills. In the same way, in relationships, curiosity can simply be a natural wish to grow, learn, and share new experiences together. Human sexuality is complex. It is influenced by biology, emotions, culture, personal values, and life experiences. As people grow and change over time, their interests and feelings can also change. A man may become curious about different forms of intimacy because he is learning more about himself. He may want to understand what makes him feel closer to his partner. He may want to feel more connected emotionally, not just physically. Sometimes, curiosity is about deepening the bond, not about replacing what already exists. Natural exploration can also be connected to imagination. Many people have thoughts, fantasies, or ideas about different ways of expressing love and closeness. Having these thoughts is normal. It does not mean a person will act on all of them. The mind is creative, and imagination can be part of healthy sexuality. When partners feel safe talking about their thoughts and interests, it can build trust. Open communication helps both people understand each other better. This can strengthen the relationship instead of harming it. Another reason curiosity happens is because relationships grow and change. At the beginning of a relationship, everything feels new and exciting. Over time, couples become more comfortable with each other. Comfort is a good thing because it brings safety and trust. However, sometimes routine can make things feel predictable. Wanting to explore something new can be a way to bring back excitement and freshness. It does not mean that the relationship is bad. It may simply mean that both partners are ready for a new stage of growth. It is also important to consider social and cultural influences. People see different ideas about intimacy in movies, books, online content, and conversations with friends. These influences can create curiosity. A man may hear about different experiences and wonder what they are like. This curiosity is not automatically negative. It becomes healthy or unhealthy depending on how it is handled. If curiosity leads to honest communication and mutual agreement between partners, it can be positive. If it leads to secrecy or dishonesty, it can cause problems. The key difference is respect and communication. Respect is very important in any relationship. When one partner feels curious about something new, it is important to talk about it gently and honestly. Both partners should feel comfortable expressing their feelings. No one should feel pressured to do something they do not want to do. Healthy exploration always includes consent, trust, and understanding. If both people are open and willing, exploring together can increase closeness. If one person is not comfortable, that boundary must be respected. Curiosity can also be part of personal growth. As people age, they learn more about their emotional needs. Some men realize that intimacy is not only physical, but also emotional and mental. They may want to connect in deeper ways, such as sharing vulnerable feelings, trying new romantic gestures, or spending time in new activities together. Exploration does not always mean something extreme or dramatic. Sometimes it simply means trying a new way of expressing love, like writing a heartfelt letter, planning a surprise date, or learning more about a partner's preferences. It is helpful to remember that every person is different. Not all men feel the same level of curiosity, and not all relationships handle exploration in the same way. Some couples are very open and enjoy trying new experiences together. Others prefer stability and routine. There is no single correct way to have a relationship. What matters most is that both partners feel respected, valued, and heard. Communication plays a central role in managing curiosity. When a man feels curious about different forms of intimacy, talking about it calmly can prevent misunderstandings. Instead of hiding thoughts or acting without discussion, sharing feelings can create a safe space. For example, he might say that he wants to feel closer or try something new to bring excitement into the relationship. When expressed in a caring way, this can open a healthy conversation. The partner can then share her own feelings, whether she feels interested, unsure, or uncomfortable. Through this discussion, they can find common ground. Trust grows when couples are honest with each other. If curiosity is hidden, it may lead to distance or suspicion. But when it is shared openly, it can build stronger trust. Even if a partner does not agree to try something new, the act of honest communication can increase understanding. It shows that both people value the relationship enough to talk about sensitive topics. It is also important to understand that curiosity does not always need to lead to action. Sometimes just talking about ideas is enough. Couples can explore emotionally and mentally without changing anything physically. They might learn more about each other's desires and boundaries, which can improve their existing connection. Exploration can simply mean discovering new ways to appreciate each other. Another aspect of natural exploration is the human desire for novelty. The brain responds positively to new experiences. Newness can create excitement and interest. In relationships, trying something different can refresh feelings of attraction and closeness. This might include small changes, such as planning different date activities, traveling together, or changing daily routines. These experiences can strengthen the bond without threatening the stability of the relationship. It is also worth mentioning that curiosity should never harm the foundation of respect and loyalty. If exploration causes pain, fear, or betrayal, then it is no longer healthy. True intimacy is built on care and responsibility. A man who values his partner will consider her feelings before making any decisions. Healthy curiosity always includes empathy and patience. Sometimes curiosity is simply about understanding oneself better. A person may not fully know what they like or need until they reflect on their feelings. Self-awareness is part of maturity. When someone takes time to understand their own emotions and desires, they can communicate them more clearly. This helps avoid confusion and conflict. In long-term relationships, growth is natural. Both partners change over time. Interests, goals, and preferences may evolve. Curiosity about intimacy can be part of this growth. When couples grow together instead of apart, they can use curiosity as a tool for deeper connection. They can see it as an opportunity to strengthen their relationship instead of a threat. It is helpful to approach the topic with kindness instead of judgment. Judging a partner for feeling curious can create shame. Shame often leads to silence and distance. Instead, understanding that curiosity is a normal human experience allows for open conversation. This does not mean agreeing to everything. It means listening without anger and responding with honesty. Patience is also important. Conversations about intimacy can feel sensitive or uncomfortable. Taking time to listen and reflect can prevent arguments. When both partners feel safe, they are more likely to share openly. This safety builds emotional closeness, which is a strong form of intimacy. In conclusion, curiosity and natural exploration are normal parts of human sexuality and relationships. For many men, curiosity about different forms of intimacy does not mean dissatisfaction. It often reflects a natural desire to learn, grow, and experience variety. When handled with honesty, respect, communication, and consent, curiosity can strengthen a relationship rather than harm it. Every couple is unique, and what matters most is mutual understanding. By approaching the topic with openness and care, partners can build deeper trust and connection while respecting each other's boundaries. Media and cultural exposure play a very strong role in shaping how people think about intimacy and relationships. From a young age, people watch movies, television shows, music videos, and later use social media and the internet. All of these sources send messages about love, attraction, romance, and physical closeness. Over time, these messages can influence what a person believes is normal, exciting, or expected in a relationship. Many people do not even realize how much they are influenced because media exposure happens almost every day. When certain behaviors or styles of intimacy are shown again and again, they can start to feel common and standard, even if they are not realistic for every relationship. Movies often show romance in a dramatic and intense way. Scenes are carefully designed to create strong emotions. Characters may express passion in bold, exciting ways that are meant to entertain the audience. Because these scenes are repeated across many films, viewers may begin to believe that this level of intensity should always be present in real life. However, movies are created for entertainment, not education. They focus on what looks exciting on screen rather than what feels natural or comfortable in everyday relationships. When someone watches many romantic or sexual scenes, they may slowly build expectations that real-life intimacy should look the same. Adult content can have an even stronger influence because it focuses directly on physical acts. In many cases, adult content is exaggerated and designed to attract attention. It does not usually show emotional connection, communication, or mutual understanding. Instead, it highlights dramatic physical experiences. When a person repeatedly watches this kind of content, certain acts may begin to feel normal or expected. The brain can become used to seeing these behaviors, and over time, they may appear less unusual. This repeated exposure can shape ideas about what intimacy should include, even though real relationships are based on comfort, trust, and consent. Social media adds another layer of influence. Platforms are filled with images, short videos, personal stories, and advice about relationships. People often share only the most exciting or dramatic parts of their lives. This can create a picture that everyone else is having thrilling, adventurous experiences all the time. When someone sees these messages daily, they may compare their own relationship to what they see online. If their relationship feels quieter or more routine, they might think something is missing. This comparison can create curiosity or pressure to try new things that appear popular or desirable online. Cultural exposure also includes conversations with friends, coworkers, or online communities. People talk about their experiences and sometimes exaggerate to sound more interesting. Hearing repeated stories about certain types of intimacy can make them seem more common than they really are. Over time, a person might feel that trying these experiences is part of being modern or open-minded. This does not always come from dissatisfaction. Sometimes it simply comes from the belief that everyone else is doing it, so it must be normal. The human brain adapts to repetition. When a person sees or hears something often, it becomes familiar. Familiar things usually feel less shocking and more acceptable. This is how normalization works. If certain acts are shown repeatedly in media, they can slowly shift from feeling unusual to feeling standard. A man who has been exposed to these portrayals many times may begin to think that trying them is a natural next step in his relationship. He might suggest these ideas not because he is unhappy, but because media has shaped his expectations. it is important to understand that media rarely shows the full picture of intimacy. Real relationships involve communication, compromise, and emotional safety. Movies and adult content usually skip over these parts. They do not show long discussions about comfort levels or boundaries. They focus on excitement and visual impact. When someone compares real life to these portrayals, they may feel that real intimacy looks less dramatic. This gap between fantasy and reality can lead to repeated suggestions to try something new. Sometimes a person may repeatedly suggest trying something they have seen because they believe it will improve the relationship. They may think it will bring excitement or strengthen connection. However, if these suggestions are not discussed carefully, they can create tension. One partner may feel pressured or uncomfortable. This is why communication is very important. Media influence becomes healthy only when ideas are discussed openly and both partners feel respected. Cultural norms also change over time. What was considered unusual in one generation may become more accepted in another. Media often leads these changes by presenting new ideas as modern and progressive. People who are exposed to these messages may want to align themselves with what seems current. They may feel curious about exploring new forms of intimacy because they do not want to feel outdated. This desire to stay current can be subtle and unconscious. Another factor is curiosity created by novelty. Media constantly introduces new trends and ideas. The human brain enjoys novelty because it creates excitement. When someone sees a new portrayal of intimacy, it can spark interest. Repeated exposure strengthens that interest. Over time, the idea may feel more appealing. This does not mean the person is dissatisfied with their partner. It simply shows how powerful repeated images and stories can be. However, it is also important to remember that people have personal responsibility. Media can influence thoughts, but individuals still choose how to act. A healthy relationship includes discussion about comfort levels and values. If one partner suggests trying something new because of media influence, the other partner has the right to share their feelings honestly. Mutual agreement is the foundation of healthy intimacy. Sometimes repeated suggestions can come from misunderstanding. A person may think their partner will enjoy something because it is shown as desirable in movies or online. They may not realize that these portrayals are unrealistic. Open conversation helps clarify what is truly desired versus what is simply influenced by outside messages. When partners talk openly, they can separate fantasy from reality. It is also helpful to limit unrealistic comparisons. Social media often presents edited and filtered versions of life. Relationships online may look perfect, but they rarely show challenges. Comparing a real relationship to online images can create unnecessary pressure. Understanding that media is often exaggerated can reduce this pressure. In some cases, media exposure can also open positive conversations. Seeing different forms of intimacy portrayed respectfully can help people learn about communication and consent. Not all media influence is negative. Educational content and honest discussions can increase awareness and understanding. The key difference is whether the content promotes respect and mutual care or simply focuses on excitement without context. When someone repeatedly suggests trying something they have seen, it may be helpful to explore why it interests them. Is it about feeling closer? Is it about curiosity? Is it about excitement? Understanding the deeper reason can help partners respond with empathy instead of defensiveness. Often, the desire is not about the act itself, but about wanting connection or novelty. It is also important for individuals to reflect on their own boundaries. Media can make certain acts appear normal, but normal does not mean required. Each person has unique comfort levels. Healthy intimacy respects those boundaries. No one should feel forced to match what is seen on screen. Education about media literacy can also help. Media literacy means understanding that movies and online content are created for entertainment and profit. They are not perfect guides for real relationships. When people remember this, they are less likely to feel pressure to copy what they see. In long-term relationships, outside influences will always exist. New trends, shows, and online discussions will continue to shape ideas. Couples who maintain strong communication can navigate these influences together. They can decide what fits their values and what does not. This shared decision-making strengthens trust. In conclusion, media and cultural exposure have a powerful impact on how people view intimacy. Movies, adult content, and social media can normalize certain behaviors by showing them repeatedly. This normalization can create curiosity and lead someone to suggest trying new experiences. However, these portrayals are often exaggerated and incomplete. Real intimacy depends on communication, consent, and mutual respect. When partners understand the influence of media and talk openly about their feelings, they can make thoughtful choices that protect their relationship. Psychological factors and fantasy play an important role in human desire and intimacy. Every person has a unique inner world made up of thoughts, memories, imagination, emotions, and personal experiences. This inner world shapes what someone finds interesting, exciting, comforting, or meaningful. When we talk about desire, we are not only talking about physical feelings, we are also talking about the mind. The mind can create images, ideas, and scenarios that feel powerful even if they never happen in real life. These fantasies are often private and personal. They can be influenced by personality, life experiences, culture, curiosity, and emotional needs. Understanding this can help people see that fantasy does not always equal intention. Fantasy is a natural part of being human. From childhood, people use imagination to create stories and ideas. Children imagine being heroes, explorers, or characters in stories. As people grow older, imagination does not disappear. It simply changes form. Adults may imagine future goals, dream about success, or think about romantic situations. Sexual or intimate fantasies are another part of this imaginative ability. They happen in the mind and may or may not be connected to what someone wants in real life. Some desires are connected to novelty. Novelty means something new or different. The human brain responds strongly to new experiences. When something feels new, the brain releases chemicals that create excitement and interest. This is not limited to intimacy. People feel it when they travel to a new place, start a new hobby, or meet someone new. In the same way, imagining new forms of intimacy can create mental excitement. The excitement often comes from the idea of something different rather than from dissatisfaction with what already exists. Psychological factors also include personality traits. Some people naturally enjoy adventure and variety. Others prefer stability and routine. A person who enjoys novelty in other areas of life may also enjoy novelty in fantasy. This does not automatically mean they want to change their real relationship. It simply reflects their imaginative style. On the other hand, someone who values predictability may have fewer fantasies about change. Both personalities are normal. People differ in how active or creative their fantasy life is. Another psychological aspect is the idea of dominance and control. In fantasies, people sometimes imagine situations where they feel powerful, desired, or in control. Others may imagine surrendering control and feeling safe. These ideas can be part of exploring identity and emotions in a safe mental space. It is important to understand that imagining dominance or control does not always reflect a person's real-life character. A gentle and respectful person might have fantasies about being dominant, while a confident leader might imagine surrendering. Control. Fantasy allows people to explore different roles without real-world consequences. Fantasies can also connect to emotional needs. For example, Someone who wants to feel deeply desired may imagine scenarios where they are the center of attention. Someone who wants to feel safe and protected may imagine being cared for intensely. These mental stories can reflect emotional longings rather than specific physical goals. Sometimes the fantasy is symbolic. It represents a feeling the person wants to experience, such as validation, excitement, or closeness. It is very important to remember that fantasies are private mental experiences. Having a fantasy does not mean someone plans to act on it. The mind is creative and can imagine many things that a person would never choose in real life. People imagine risky adventures without wanting real danger. In the same way, intimate fantasies may stay only in the imagination. They are a way for the brain to explore ideas safely. Psychological development also influences desire. Early life experiences, past relationships, and cultural background shape how a person views intimacy. If someone grew up in an environment where emotions were not openly expressed, they might develop fantasies that emphasize intense emotional connection. If someone experienced strict control in life, they might fantasize about freedom. These patterns are not always obvious, but they can influence desire. Stress and daily life pressures can also increase the appeal of fantasy. When life feels routine or demanding, imagination can offer mental escape. This does not mean a person wants to leave their partner. It may simply mean they want relief from stress. Fantasy can provide temporary excitement or comfort without changing real-life commitments. Another important factor is that fantasy is flexible. It can change over time. What interests someone at one stage of life may not interest them later. As people grow, their emotional needs and self-understanding change. Psychological maturity can also change how someone views their own fantasies. They may become more aware of the difference between imagination and intention. Communication is important when psychological desires affect a relationship. If someone chooses to share a fantasy, it should be done with care and respect. The partner may not share the same interest, and that is okay. Healthy relationships allow space for differences. Sharing does not mean demanding. It means opening a conversation. Both partners should feel safe expressing comfort levels and boundaries. It is also healthy to keep some fantasies private if sharing them would create misunderstanding. Not every thought needs to be acted upon or discussed. Personal imagination can exist without harming the relationship, as long as it does not lead to secrecy or betrayal. The key is honesty about actions, not necessarily about every passing thought. Sometimes people feel guilty about their fantasies because they worry it means something negative about their character. However, psychology shows that thoughts and actions are different. A thought is not the same as behavior. A person's values are shown by their choices, not by every idea that enters their mind. Understanding this difference reduces shame and allows healthier self-acceptance. Perceptions of dominance and control in fantasy often relate to power dynamics in a symbolic way. Power in fantasy does not always mean wanting real control over someone. It may represent confidence, vulnerability, trust, or excitement. When two partners discuss these ideas openly and respectfully, they can better understand what the fantasy truly means. Often it is less about the specific act and more about the emotional experience behind it. Trust is essential when dealing with psychological aspects of intimacy. If one partner misunderstands fantasy as emotional dissatisfaction, it can create conflict. But when both understand that fantasy is a normal mental process, they can approach the topic calmly. This understanding builds emotional safety. It is also helpful to develop self-awareness. When someone notices a recurring fantasy, they can ask themselves what feeling it represents. Is it about excitement, validation, curiosity, or stress relief? This reflection can provide insight. Sometimes the emotional need behind the fantasy can be met in simple ways, such as spending more quality time together or expressing appreciation more often. In long-term relationships, psychological desires may evolve. Routine can reduce novelty, so imagination becomes a space for variety. Couples who communicate well can sometimes integrate small changes that both feel comfortable with, without trying to copy unrealistic scenarios. The goal is not to match fantasy perfectly, but to maintain connection and mutual respect. Understanding that fantasies vary from person to person prevents judgment. What feels exciting to one person may feel uninteresting or uncomfortable to another. Differences do not mean incompatibility unless they are handled without respect. Compassion and listening are more important than agreement on every idea. Mental health also plays a role. Anxiety, depression, or low self-esteem can influence fantasy patterns. For example, someone who struggles with confidence may imagine situations where they feel admired. Addressing emotional well-being often reduces confusion about desire. When emotional needs are met in healthy ways, fantasies may feel less urgent. It is essential to repeat that fantasy does not always reflect emotional intentions. A person can deeply love their partner and still imagine different scenarios. Love is shown through commitment, respect, and daily actions. Fantasy is simply part of the mind's creative ability. Confusing the two can lead to unnecessary fear. In conclusion, psychological factors and fantasy are natural parts of human desire. They are shaped by personality, emotional needs, life experiences, stress, and imagination. Some fantasies include ideas of novelty, dominance, or control, but these do not automatically reflect real-life intentions or dissatisfaction. Understanding the difference between thought and action is crucial. When handled with self-awareness, honesty, and respect, psychological desires do not have to harm a relationship. Instead, they can become opportunities for deeper understanding of oneself and one's partner. Communication is one of the most important parts of any healthy relationship. When two people are in a relationship, they bring their own thoughts, feelings, expectations, fears, and experiences. No two people think exactly the same way. Because of this, talking openly and honestly becomes the bridge that connects them. When communication is clear and respectful, both partners feel heard and valued. When communication is weak or unbalanced, problems can slowly grow. One of the signs of a communication gap is when one partner insists repeatedly on something that makes the other partner uncomfortable. This situation often points to a deeper issue that needs understanding and care. In a healthy relationship, both people should feel safe expressing their opinions. Safety does not mean they always agree. It means they can speak without fear of being ignored, pressured, or judged. If one partner keeps pushing for something after the other has shown discomfort, it may create emotional stress. The partner, who feels pressured, may begin to feel that their feelings do not matter. Over time, this can damage trust. Trust is built when both people respect each other's boundaries. Consent is a key part of intimacy and emotional closeness. Consent means that both people agree freely and happily. It should never come from pressure, fear, guilt, or repeated persuasion. When one partner insists again and again, the other partner may feel tired of saying no. They may give in just to stop the discussion. This is not true consent. True consent includes comfort and willingness. Without it, emotional distance can grow. Sometimes repeated insistence does not come from bad intentions. A partner may believe they are simply expressing their desires. They might think that persistence shows passion or commitment. However, if they do not truly listen to the response, they are missing an important part of communication. Communication is not only about speaking, it is also about listening carefully and respecting the answer, even if it is not the answer they hoped for. When communication gaps appear, tension often follows. The partner who feels pushed may begin to withdraw emotionally. They may avoid certain conversations to prevent conflict. This avoidance can reduce emotional closeness. Over time, small misunderstandings can grow into larger problems. Emotional distance does not usually happen suddenly. It builds slowly when feelings are not respected. Healthy relationships depend on balance. Balance means that both partners have equal space to share their thoughts. If one person dominates conversations or decisions, the relationship can feel unequal. This imbalance can create frustration and resentment. The partner who feels unheard may start to feel invisible or unimportant. Even if love is still present, the lack of balance can weaken the connection. Open discussion is essential to prevent these problems. When a sensitive topic comes up, both partners should approach it calmly. Instead of repeating demands, one partner can ask questions to understand why the other feels uncomfortable. Understanding the reason behind a boundary can create empathy. Empathy means trying to feel what the other person feels. When empathy is present, respect grows stronger. Sometimes communication gaps are linked to fear. A partner might fear rejection, so they push harder, hoping for a different answer. They might think that persistence will show how important the issue is to them. However, fear-based communication often leads to pressure instead of understanding. Learning to express feelings honestly without pushing creates healthier dialogue. It is also important to recognize nonverbal communication. Silence, body language, and tone of voice can show discomfort. If one partner ignores these signals and continues to insist, the other partner may feel emotionally unsafe. Emotional safety is just as important as physical safety in a relationship. When someone feels safe, they can relax and be open. When they feel pressured, they may close off. Respect is the foundation of healthy communication. Respect means valuing the other person's feelings even when they are different from your own. It means understanding that love does not give someone the right to control or pressure. When respect is strong, disagreements can be handled calmly. When respect is weak, disagreements can become arguments or emotional battles. Repeated insistence can also create self-doubt. The partner who feels pressured may start questioning their own feelings. They might wonder if they are being unreasonable or too sensitive. This internal conflict can lower self-confidence. Over time, they may stop expressing discomfort altogether. This silence creates a deeper communication gap. On the other side, the partner who insists repeatedly may also feel misunderstood. They might believe their desires are not being taken seriously. Without proper communication, both partners can feel hurt at the same time. This is why open discussion is so important. Instead of focusing only on the act or request, couples can talk about the emotions behind it. Often the real need is emotional closeness, validation, or excitement, not just the specific action. Healthy relationships require patience. If one partner is uncomfortable, pushing will not solve the issue. Taking time to understand and build trust may lead to better outcomes. Patience shows care. It communicates that the relationship matters more than any single desire. Boundaries are a natural part of relationships. Every person has limits based on their values, comfort, and past experiences. Boundaries are not barriers to love. They protect emotional well-being. When boundaries are respected, trust grows. When boundaries are ignored, trust weakens. Repeated pressure sends a message that boundaries are not important, which can cause long-term damage. Emotional distance often begins with small communication failures. A repeated argument about one topic can spill into other areas of the relationship. Partners may become less affectionate or less open in general. What started as a single disagreement can slowly affect the entire emotional connection. Good communication includes compromise, but compromise should never involve crossing personal limits. Compromise means finding solutions that both partners feel comfortable with. It does not mean one partner giving up their comfort to please the other. True compromise respects both sides equally. Listening skills are as important as speaking skills. Active listening means paying full attention without planning a response while the other person talks. It means asking questions to clarify and repeating back what you understand. This shows that the feelings are taken seriously. When someone feels truly heard, tension decreases. Sometimes couples benefit from outside support, such as counseling. A neutral third person can help identify patterns of imbalance and teach healthier communication methods. Seeking help does not mean the relationship is failing. It means both partners care enough to improve it. It is also helpful for individuals to reflect on their own behavior. If someone notices they are insisting repeatedly, they can pause and ask themselves why. Are they feeling insecure? Are they trying to fix something that feels missing? Self-awareness can prevent unnecessary conflict. Forgiveness and understanding also play a role. Communication mistakes happen in every relationship. What matters is the willingness to learn and change. If one partner recognizes they have been pushing too hard and sincerely apologizes, trust can be rebuilt. In long-term relationships, communication patterns become habits. Healthy habits create stability and closeness. Unhealthy habits create distance. Addressing communication gaps early prevents deeper emotional wounds. Mutual respect, consent, and open discussion are not just ideas. They are daily practices. They require effort, honesty, and empathy. When both partners commit to these values, even difficult conversations can strengthen the bond instead of weakening it. In conclusion, when a partner insists repeatedly on something, that makes the other uncomfortable. It often signals a communication imbalance. Healthy relationships depend on respect, consent, and equal voice. Pressure can create tension, emotional distance, and loss of trust. However, with patience, empathy, and honest dialogue, couples can close communication gaps and build stronger, emotional connections. The most important part of any intimate relationship is consent. Consent means that both people clearly and freely agree to what is happening. It is not based on pressure, fear, guilt, or force. It is a choice made with comfort and understanding. When two people share intimacy, whether emotional or physical, both should feel safe and respected. Without consent, there is no true closeness. Real intimacy grows from trust, not from control. This is why consent is the foundation of a healthy and lasting relationship. Consent is more than just saying yes. It means saying yes with comfort and willingness. If someone feels unsure, afraid, or pressured, then the situation is not fully consensual. Silence is not consent. Giving in to avoid conflict is not consent. True consent happens when both partners feel relaxed and confident in their choice. This creates emotional safety, which is necessary for genuine connection. Feeling safe in a relationship is very important. Safety means knowing that your partner will listen to you and respect your boundaries. It means you can express your thoughts without fear of being judged or punished. When a person feels safe, they can be open and honest. They can share their feelings, desires, and limits. This openness strengthens the relationship because both partners understand each other better. Respect is closely connected to consent. Respect means valuing the other person's feelings as much as your own. It means understanding that your partner's body and emotions belong to them. No matter how strong a desire may be, it should never override another person's comfort. Love does not give someone the right to ignore boundaries. In fact, real love protects boundaries. Boundaries are personal limits that help people feel secure. Everyone has different boundaries based on their experiences, culture, beliefs, and personality. Some people are more open to certain forms of intimacy, while others prefer slower or more traditional approaches. Neither is right or wrong. What matters is that both partners understand and honor each other's limits. When boundaries are respected, trust grows stronger. Trust is built slowly through consistent actions. When a partner listens and respects, a no, it sends a powerful message. Your feelings matter to me. Over time, this builds deep emotional trust. On the other hand, if someone ignores or pushes against boundaries, trust can break quickly. Broken trust is difficult to repair because it affects emotional security. Open dialogue is essential in maintaining consent and mutual comfort. Dialogue means honest and calm conversation. Partners should talk about their feelings, preferences, and concerns regularly. These conversations do not need to be serious all the time. They can be gentle and natural. The goal is to create a space where both people feel heard. When communication is open, misunderstandings are less likely to happen. Listening is just as important as speaking. Sometimes people focus more on explaining their own desires and forget to truly listen. Active listening means paying attention without interrupting or becoming defensive. It means trying to understand the other person's point of view. When someone feels heard, they feel valued. This strengthens emotional connection. Mutual comfort means that both partners feel at ease. Intimacy should not feel like a test or obligation. It should feel like a shared experience built on care. If one partner feels uncomfortable, that discomfort deserves attention. Ignoring discomfort can create emotional distance. Over time, small moments of discomfort can turn into larger feelings of resentment. It is also important to understand that consent can change. Just because someone agreed to something in the past does not mean they must agree again. Feelings change over time. Stress, mood, health, or life events can affect comfort levels. A healthy partner understands that consent must be ongoing. Checking in with each other shows care and responsibility. Power balance is another important factor. In a healthy relationship, neither partner should feel more powerful or controlling than the other. If one person feels pressured because of emotional dependence, financial dependence, or fear of losing the relationship, consent may not be fully free. Equality creates the safest space for true agreement. Emotional connection grows when both partners feel secure. Security comes from knowing that your partner will not force or manipulate you. When both people respect each other's limits, intimacy becomes more meaningful. It becomes an expression of trust rather than an obligation. Sometimes, people worry that talking about consent will reduce romance or excitement. In reality, the opposite is often true. Clear communication can increase comfort and confidence. When both partners know they are safe, they can relax and enjoy the moment more fully. Consent does not remove passion, it protects it. Understanding and empathy also play important roles. Empathy means trying to feel what your partner feels. If your partner says they are uncomfortable, empathy helps you pause and care about their experience. Instead of feeling rejected, you can understand that their boundary is about their comfort, not about your worth. This mindset prevents unnecessary conflict. No desire, no matter how strong, is more important than another person's well-being. Relationships are built on partnership, not ownership. Each person remains an individual with their own rights and limits. Healthy love supports individuality while building togetherness. When partners trust each other, they are more likely to share their true feelings. This includes sharing what they enjoy and what they do not. Honest conversations reduce confusion. Instead of guessing what the other person wants, partners can ask and discuss openly. This reduces pressure and strengthens closeness. Consent also applies to emotional intimacy. For example, sharing personal information or discussing sensitive topics should happen when both people feel ready. Forcing emotional openness can be just as harmful as forcing physical closeness. Mutual readiness is key. If a boundary is crossed, even accidentally, acknowledging it quickly and sincerely is important. Apologizing and taking responsibility shows maturity and care. Ignoring the issue or becoming defensive can increase hurt. Growth happens when mistakes are recognized and corrected. Healthy relationships require patience. Sometimes one partner may need more time to feel comfortable. Patience shows that the relationship matters more than immediate satisfaction. Rushing can damage trust, while patience strengthens it. Mutual understanding grows over time. As partners, continue to talk and respect each other. They learn what makes the other feel safe and valued. This shared knowledge becomes the foundation of lasting intimacy. In long-term relationships, maintaining consent and comfort requires ongoing effort. Life changes, stress, and responsibilities can affect closeness. Regular check-ins help maintain connection. Asking simple questions like, "Are you comfortable?" or "How do you feel about this?" shows care. Healthy intimacy is never about winning or convincing. It is about sharing and choosing together. When both partners feel equally valued, the relationship becomes a place of support rather than pressure. In conclusion, consent and mutual comfort are the most important elements in any intimate relationship. Both partners must feel safe, respected, and heard. No desire should ever override another person's boundaries. Through open dialogue, empathy, trust, and ongoing communication, couples can build a healthy and meaningful connection that honors both individuals equally.